I'm Sky.
I'm Finn.
I'm Delaney.
I'm Harrison.
And we are.
And we're
Blue
Crew Broadcast.
Yeah, we're restarting.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Welcome back, Altalama. Today's air date is Friday, November 20th. I'm Finn McBride.
I'm Harrison.
Delaney.
And I'm Sky.
And this is our fourth episode of the Blue Crew Broadcast. We have a lot of interesting topics and a few special guests, and we hope you guys enjoy.
All right, guys, our last episode aired last Friday, the 13th, and we were talking about athletics with our guest star, Jordan Stallworth. It was a pretty eventful and fun episode, so if you want to go check that out, it's on our Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, any podcast streaming service. And this episode will be about freshman advice and breaking high school stereotypes.
Yeah, so some quick announcements. On Friday, November 23rd, we will be having the Altaloma Drive-In. So gates open at 5:30, and we'll be seeing the movie Elf, and only the first 100 cars will be admitted. So hope to see you there, Braves. And then also our fall break for Thanksgiving begins on Friday, November 20th. So enjoy that week off. And also coming up on December 4th, Friday, from 6 to 9, we'll be having our Winter Wonderland Thorough Brave instead of Thoroughbred. So come check that out for some awesome winter decorations.
Yeah, so let's get into our discussion. So today we're going to be talking about high school stereotypes and like debunking myths, I guess you could say. So let's start with the fact that everyone thinks going into high school that upperclassmen absolutely hate freshmen. I don't think that's true, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that is not true in the slightest.
You don't see freshmen like in trash cans or anything like when you're walking. So like if you're a freshman watching this and if we eventually get into person, don't be scared of that. Like we don't really mind. At least I don't.
Yeah, honestly, like the upperclassmen have their homework and college ops to worry about instead of putting freshmen in trash cans. So you guys have nothing to worry about, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little brother who is a freshman this year, and he lives like right down the hall from me. And I haven't thrown him into a trash can yet, so I can speak on that behalf that I think you guys are going to be just fine. On that note, like I'm kind of just reflecting on freshman year where I was like when I was shorter, my hair was longer. Like, what do you guys have to say about your freshman years? Like, just as a reflection.
Yeah, my freshman year, honestly, I think the thing that made freshman year like really fun was the fact that I joined cross country because I had the summer training to make friends with like kids my age and upperclassmen. So going into school, I had like a familiarity with some faces on campus, some older like students, and freshman year it's pretty good, you know? I had really good experiences with upperclassmen at like camp and stuff, so my freshman year was pretty darn good.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
My freshman year, so fun fact, like I haven't gone to Altaloma all 4 years. I transferred here last year. So my freshman year, I didn't even finish my school year at the same high school. So it was a little rocky because I moved from San Diego to Kansas. And so I will say like the beginning of my freshman year when I lived in the same place, like after 6 years, it was fun to be with my friends and start high school and stuff. But going to new school, like second semester was rough, but I still enjoyed freshman year.
I really, really enjoyed freshman year more than I thought I would, mainly because I had ASB as kind of like a backbone and my fall sport volleyball, kind of what Harrison was saying, where like having that gateway of knowing people before you actually start school was like really important to me, and it really formed those connections that I've been able to have throughout my 4 years. And I was very, very privileged to be able to start at the school before I even like started the actual schoolwork. Like I started working with ASB over the summer and like working through volleyball through like camp and like athletic training and stuff like that. And so very similar to Harrison, it was a lot less scarier because I had started my pathway before actually being thrown into just like the high school culture. So
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I think that's like really like it's such a good thing, especially to be like just engage yourself. To all those freshmen listening, just engage yourself in as many things as possible, just so you can build those relationships with upperclassmen. You know, we can like guide you and mentor you through different classes and such. So
And I think that poses like an important challenge that like a lot of people may not be ready to confront like in this year. And I we all know that this year is hard and we're kind of tired of talking about it, but I actually kind of strangely I didn't really have the same experience as Harrison and Delaney because like my freshman year I didn't really join anything. So I had like I think that's okay too, because I hope like that discussion, like I know that freshmen missed out on a lot and that's important to acknowledge, but I think what's even more important is realizing like what is in front of you and how like if you make a few mistakes like within the first few days, it's not something to be ashamed of, you know, like a lot of people that I know who joined the clubs that I've been a part of didn't really start off the first day of high school. It took a while. Sometimes they joined in the middle of the season or just took the year off entirely. And I don't think it really matters where you start. And I think you should give yourself a bit of time, but just like to, you know, take acknowledgement of that. Like, don't take moments for granted and just like always be on the lookout for something. Maybe just your time will come, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so like a little segue from that is like, would you say that these have been like the best years of our lives? Like obviously we haven't lived the rest of our life, but so far out of our 17 years on this earth, has it been the best years of your life?
You know, oh wait.
I know I'm really, really excited for college. So I don't want to put the high school years down a little bit. They've definitely gotten me to where I am today and have made me grow a lot. But I personally don't think they will be the best years once I've lived my life. Like I think it's gonna be something super fun to look back on, and it's definitely gonna set a building block to where I'm going and where I will be. But I think college is really like my place. Like that's where I'm really, really excited to learn and grow. And yeah, so even though they are really good years of my life, I think college is gonna be that breaking point for me personally. Of course, not everyone's the same, but that's just my opinion.
yeah, honestly, oh, I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
go.
Okay, so yes, currently right now in my 17 years of existence, these past 3.5 years have honestly been so influential and pivotal for me. Um, Not only as like myself as an individual, but like as it like helping my community through different things. I've seen a lot of growth in a lot of my friends, and I can definitely like say that these years have some like my best memories. Like especially last year, I'm gonna say junior year was probably my favorite year, just because like it was that age of like maturity where you take more responsibility, such as driving, and you also have the freedoms of being still in your childhood. You know, like you're not fully an adult yet. You're not a kid, but it's like the prime teenage years, and that's like I think that's the one of the greatest parts about high school is junior year, because it's like that in between period, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree too. I will say my junior year was probably my favorite so far. Um, and I would say that the whole stereotype that it is the best years of your life, I think it also just depends on like what you do, because there's people who aren't involved in anything and they can like say like high school isn't fun, like there's nothing to do, but then there's people who are extremely involved. Like I don't think I would have enjoyed the past 3.5 years as much as if I weren't involved in everything I have been, and it's also been my biggest growing point too. So
Yeah.
Personally, I'd have to say that it's a little bit of both. And I feel like I got told fairly early on into this transition that, in this time of your life, you kind of get a balance of you get so many more responsibilities, but in turn, you get a lot more freedom. So Harrison's example of driving is probably like the most important because, driving is a serious responsibility and like, it's really fun, but it's also like just it's stressful and there's a lot of steps that you need to take before you get on the road. I think that's a pretty solid metaphor for life. And I love my school. I loved the past like 3 years that I had. And even though this year is kind of not so good, I still you just got to look for the best in it, and you kind of have to accept that like you're going to have your worst moments in your 4 years too, along with your best ones. And that's not to discourage anyone, but I think it's just important that we sort of embrace our worst moments and look forward to our best ones and embrace the best ones too. It's just reality, and it's kind of like being hit with that reality. It's like I've never been this happy before, but sometimes you've never been this stressed before. And I think that's like the most pivotal thing you like learn to realize is just that balance of like positives and negatives.
Yeah, absolutely. The good ultimately outweighs the bad, 100%. And high school is definitely the transition period, and a lot of growth happens physically and spiritually. And like if it, to me, it's all about attitude. If you have a positive attitude about things, your experience is going to be 100% better than if you have a negative attitude. And if you go into school expecting the worst, you're not going to get what you hope to get. But if you go into school um, and you're expecting to have a great time, you're going to find that great time. You're going to find the opportunities to have laughs, to, just engage in great like activities on campus and stuff. So attitude for me is like a great factor in the best years of the high school life.
I think that's just something you should apply to life in general, is like go into something with a positive mindset and expect the best, but be aware of the worst type of thing. Because going into something with a bad mindset is just going to lead to a negative outlook on life. Anything else with that topic before we go on to the next myth?
I think we're pretty solid.
Okay, so then cliques. Like you watch these movies and people like you see these movies in high school and it's always like jocks versus nerds, or like people in the math club aren't friends with like the people in the football team type of thing, or like drama kids are always nerds. Like your opinions on this stereotype?
So I'm gonna take this one first. I do not. Okay, I will acknowledge those groups do exist, absolutely, but I will debunk from my personal experience that they are not going to haze you or harass you for being part of a different group. That is so false, because I am an athlete. I am also a scholar. I get along with everyone, and it's like, just be nice to people and you'll have no problems.
Yeah. I'll say I've attended 3 high schools. And so that's given me like an outlook on like this whole like clique thing and like how the high school like hierarchy, I guess you can say, work. And I will say Alta Loma is the one school that doesn't have cliques. Like coming from an outside perspective, I like my other 2 high schools, it wasn't normal for someone in like one like an athlete to really hang out with someone who is in like academic type of clubs. But in Alta Loma, like you can be an athlete and also take AP classes and be in like the music program or and NHS, like that type of thing. So I would say like I do agree, like there are those certain groups, like athletes tend to hang out with athletes, but that you also like socialize with everyone. So
Yeah,
I agree
absolutely.
with you.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm more along the lines of Harrison's experience because I have to acknowledge there are cliques at Alta Loma High School, just like every other high school, because when you're in an activity, you tend to group with them, because you spend the most time with them. But they're not exclusive. So if you wanted to bounce around and go to different cliques, whatever, different groups. I don't like the word cliques. It just makes me feel like mean girl. Anyway, okay, so if you want to bounce around to like different groups, like that's totally okay. And for someone who's done that, like Harrison, I'm a scholar, I'm an athlete, ASB, link crew, all that stuff. And I bounce around between groups, and no one's gonna be like, "Oh, she plays soccer. She can't hang out with the ASB group." Like, no, like they'll accept anyone, even if you're not in that group. I think it's just a lot of different people coming from a lot of different backgrounds, and I think what's important is that you're nice to everyone and that you guys get along. I think that's the main chemistry in groups because we don't really seem to link it to an activity anymore. We like link it with who we vibe with the best. And I think that that's the best way to go. And with my experience, like Skylar said, Altamont High School is really, really good at not really seeing those as stratified as they are in other high schools. So I think whatever you want to do, whoever you want to hang out with, there's nothing going to be keeping you from that.
I feel like it's like some of it is true, but it's never like in the movies, like I feel like going into high school, you shouldn't expect it to be like a musical or like some of the stereotypes that you might see on like dramatized things. I think it's about, like the truth is in not the fact that you might wear the same jersey as someone, but you guys just share the same interests, like I started off I'm like my freshman year was kind of hardest for me because I wasn't in anything. And then sophomore year is when I really like started to get involved with like drama and band and other things. And like junior year, like I took on a lot. And like even senior year now, it's like even though most of it's digitized, like still proud to be part of it. But like what I said, it's kind of like just finding people that you have similar interests with. And I don't think there's anything wrong with I mean, it's just maintaining like your individual self while just like sharing interests with other people. And yeah, there's no hazing or rivalries. It's not like the outsiders, like the Sashas versus the Greasers, but people
Yeah.
just wear jerseys.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I want to throw in a couple little like fun ones, I guess you could say, that I found. And then we'll go on to our next part with our guests. High schoolers are addicted to caffeine.
Yes.
I'd like
No.
to take this one. I wasn't, but I think the one thing that everyone's missing out on not being in like physical school is the coffee and water shop. I love that store. It's so good. But like, yeah,
Cookies.
yeah, it's so good. I used to go like every Friday morning. It was funny because like my freshman year, my older brother is 3 years older than me, and he was a senior, similar to like how I am now. My little brother, and my dad's a teacher, so like we'd all pile into the same car, and just like that would be our Friday morning tradition. And sometimes coffee really helps, like if it's like late at night, you get home from practice and like you just need to study, it just gives you the boost you need. And especially now, just like I feel like a lot of us still haven't like incorporated like a good sleep schedule, and like just implementing caffeine is like it's a little assist. It's like a power up in a video game, and it's not like addictive, but like I mean I like caffeine. Yeah.
I will say that before high school, I didn't drink coffee or really anything. And I will say I have developed a caffeine addiction. I can't like say that the whole high schoolers are addicted to caffeine goes across everyone, but I will say I personally am subject to that stereotype because I have to have coffee every morning or tea or something.
See, thankfully, I'm not dependent on anything, and I will stray. One, I don't like the taste. It is disgusting to me. I like the smell though. The smell of coffee is bomb, but the taste is just ugh. Also, I don't like being wired like I don't want to be like high strung, Like I've seen people with too much caffeine and oh man, it's scary. They're like, no, I do not want to be part of that. But I understand the like why people drink coffee. It definitely, like Finbar said, it's that nice power up, that rainbow surge in Mario Kart, just go faster. It definitely helps, I will admit. But to manage your time and to have a healthy sleeping schedule, I don't think it's necessary. Like to those who do have a coffee dependency, I hope you're the best. But to those who don't, keep on living undependent or independent.
I have to.
don't think it's a I don't think it's a necessity. I think it's just a delicacy in my
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
Like I
Uh,
look forward to it every morning, but I could go without it. Like I'm like it's just like my morning routine. But if it ever were to get strayed, I wouldn't like go crazy. Like it's just a pleasure that I confide in every morning, and I think that's why I like it so much because it's like my comfort. But I don't like have an addiction or anything like that. But I see what you mean.
I actually put it to the test at like the start of this month. I was like, is this really a problem? And I went a week without it and I was fine. But it's just, I like holding my Star Wars mug first period. It's just been really great. Bean
See,
juice.
I totally understand that because back to a topic that we discussed before, Finn mentioned like having or wearing certain clothes to get you in a mindset. I always have a morning routine and I totally get that. I like drinking out of my JPL mug and it's orange juice, but I love doing it. It's just something I enjoy.
Part of
Yes,
the
sir.
routine. Okay, so last one. So being in a relationship or like your appearance, like that matters on your acceptance in high school and like is important in your high school life.
Well, there's definitely I call it like pretty privilege, and I'm saying that being attractive or being in line with the societal beauty standard is something so subjective, and people often base their entire self-esteem and morale over it. I know I personally have, and a lot of people have, and it's this desire to fit in, to be accepted, because when you're pretty, you're accepted automatically. And even though it sucks, it is a reality. People do have pretty privilege. If you're more attractive, you're going to get more things thrown your way. But with that being said, I don't think that you should let that base your entire personality, because beauty is very, very subjective. Like I said before, you may not think you're pretty, but everyone's pretty in their own way. Or everyone's beautiful in their own way, inside or out, or both, neither. So I think don't worry about your appearance, because even though other people's grass may seem greener, it matters what you're doing for yourself and what you're inside and how you make other people feel and how you make yourself feel. So I think although it's something we struggle with and we tell ourselves over and over again, like, don't compare yourself, we always end up like you're never getting around it. But just focus on other things and kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit and you'll live a lot better.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, freshman year, appearance did I wanted to fit a certain appearance. So I dressed to make others happy instead of dressing how I wanted to dress. And honestly, it just got tiring. Like I was just like, dude, I'm not comfortable. My like I used to wear skin tight skinny jeans. I couldn't breathe, and it was just like, why am I doing this? Just to fit an image, And after I stopped caring about what other people think about like my appearance, definitely got a lot more comfortable, wore looser jeans, so much better. And like I just developed my own style, like I like wearing loose fitting Dickies, Vans. I will always love Vans, and like a sweatshirt, like wearing a sweater right now, And it's just so much. If you can develop your own style, you can rock it more confidently, Like if you're dressing for yourself, you're gonna rock it. You're gonna own your look, And if you're trying to fit a certain image, you're always gonna be insecure about if you wore it correctly or if not. So my advice is just be yourself in how you dress, man.
I
Yeah,
feel like, sorry.
You can.
Okay. I just feel like, you kind of have to be, I'll spit it out like quickly. You kind of have to be selfish in this regard, as in like you have to do things for yourself and make sure that you're not caught in the wind of what other people may think of you. And I think that's very important to acknowledge that like you have to admit that like high school is very stressful and you always feel like there's people watching you. And that carries in appearance and relationships. And you kind of just like, in those regards, you just got to follow your heart and do what makes you happy, There was a point where I had red strands in my hair. That was a really weird phase. And that was even before high school, but I've dyed my hair a variety of colors. I've experimented with a lot of things. And, like I've settled into some shell of myself that I feel pretty comfortable in and a lot of things in my life. And I feel like just it's self-care and it's just doing whatever you think is going to make you happy and whatever clothes you want to wear. And I feel like that prevails above all. Just make sure you're doing it for yourself. And yeah.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. And so with that, make sure you are confident in yourself and in how you carry yourself, because that is going to make your life so much positive and better. With that, we are going to add our guests in now. So within like the next couple seconds, you'll see our guests. Okay.
All right, guys. So our special guests today are Mr. Veal and Miss Kimberly. So if you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Mr. Veal. I've been teaching here this is my 8th year teaching here. I teach social studies, specifically world history, one of the advisors for Link Crew, and then also I teach junior Avid along with the wonderful Mrs. Kimberly.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. I teach junior English. I have Avid seniors, and I'm one of the other co-Link Crew advisors. So nice to be here today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. So today we have a couple or many questions for you guys. So first question, what is Link Crew and Avid, and how do you guys like manage it?
Ms. Kim, I think that's a good one for you to take.
Oh, thank you. Well, we'll start with Avid. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So Avid is a program. It's a worldwide program actually for students that are wanting to go to college, a 4-year university, but don't necessarily have the support or the help or people at home that know how to help them walk through that process. So that's what Mr. Veal and I do, and our other Avid teachers, is just help kids, support them, and walk them through all those steps. Link Crew is a transition program where we help freshmen get used to high school and walk them through all the steps of what that looks like, how to be successful, but most importantly, building connections and relationships with you guys, with upperclassmen. So
awesome. Thank you so much.
Very well said.
So the second question is, with your guys' influence in like Link Crew and Avid, how would you guys say would be the best way for students to make friends?
Do you mean like make friends within those programs or just on a large scale?
On like a larger scale.
So Ms. Kim, I'll answer this one. I think the best way for students to make friends is to get involved. So for example, with Link Crew, we've seen over the years, Ms. Kim been doing it longer than me, so she's seen more, but Link crew leaders, they join in like a group of 5 or 6. When they first start in the summer, they don't know each other. By the end of the year, they may be really good friends, if not best friends. So that's just one example, tangible example we could think about from our perspective. In addition to getting involved, I would say during class, maybe participate in class. And overall, just treat people nice. And I think it'll come back your way and you'll maybe meet friends without even trying to.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. The next couple questions, along with extracurriculars and getting involved, actually, what are some of the best or most influential clubs to join for freshmen or any student?
You can go first, Ms. Kim.
Gosh, we have so many clubs. I can't even think of one off the top of my head. Best Buddies, I know, is one that a lot of my students have been involved in over the years, and I know it's so rewarding for them to just work with students that have learning disabilities and other physical limitations, and take them around and take them shopping, or have lunch with them. I can't think of any other clubs.
I mean, I know another club that I have a niece that's a sophomore that goes here, and she just joined the club last week, the anime and K-pop club, and she's enjoying it. She's really into that. So I know that's a club that freshmen especially can join to meet all different grade levels. In addition to that, I know it's not a club per se. Excuse me, in terms of title. But I would say sports. If you're into sports or maybe the arts or something to that effect. And of course, if you join a program like ASD as a freshman, then you have like almost unlimited access to anybody on campus.
Awesome, thank you. Along with extracurriculars, another way, advice or some questions some freshmen have are, what are the importance of AP and honor classes, and what is the difference? Like, what key differences do you guys see between the two?
I think it's the importance is that, especially now with a lot of schools in California, like the Cal States and the UCs going test blind, meaning that they're not counting the SAT in regards to college admission. I think AP and honors courses are even more important now to show that as a freshman, you're willing to take on a challenge and you're willing to overcome and succeed with said challenge. I think SAT scores or test scores used to be important, but now with that gone, I think colleges will look at, or everybody will look at different aspects of your high school involvement and career. So I think that's very important.
And just getting, you guys used to the rigors of what college classes will be like. I think that's, the whole point, at least for me, if I was taking one or if I wanted my child to, it would be to get them used to those demands that, we're not all necessarily used to or when we walk onto a college campus. So.
Awesome. Well, I'll ask the next two. So, something that freshmen or anyone really in high school experience is problems with, like, whether it's personal or academically. Like, we're human, we're obviously going to run into problems. So, as a student, who can freshmen or really any student go to get help with these problems?
I mean, I think in this situation of in the middle of a pandemic, none of us have done school this way. So I think we're still learning about how to get help. But I think for us, everything is just trying to make those connections and relationships with your teachers when you can. And then for freshmen, at least we have link leaders that are there that they can build relationships with. And our counselors, I feel like those are probably the most immediate sources right now, and easy to get in contact with.
And as a freshman or any student with distance learning on Zoom, I think it's important to try to make connections with your content teachers. So that could be done in simple ways like maybe sometimes sending your teacher when you log in, send them a chat saying, hey, good morning, Mrs. Kimberly, or something to that effect. Those are things that I really enjoy because it's like the closest we can get to a conversation in person. So during class, I talk to a lot of my students in the chat, of course, about the work we're doing, but sometimes about music or other different categories. And I think that's going to help them moving forward because when we do return, if it's next semester, I'll already feel like I have a relationship with them. So it's like, even though we're first meeting the first time, it's like we skipped a couple steps, you know?
Absolutely. And so on the topic of us being in socially distanced, with the hopefulness that we will be going in person, especially for freshmen who haven't had the chance to be on campus or go to high school in person, what should freshmen expect transitioning from being online to being able to be in person with their peers and their teachers and like the staff on campus?
I think they can expect a lot of people excited to be back, which is not really the case normally when, we kind of take school for granted, I guess, per se. It's just a normal part of life. So I think you'll see a lot of people excited to be back. I think you'll see a lot of people adjusting to the times, because when we do come back, I don't think it will be 100% back to normal. So you'll still see a transition there. And overall, hopefully what we see is students who are happier to be back and more friendly with each other and with more energy to try to start different clubs or get things going.
Yeah, that's wonderfully said. And our last two questions kind of pertain to like what you guys do in Link Crew. And all of us here are in or have been a part of Link Crew. I unfortunately couldn't come back this year just because it was too much like other things going on. But
We still love you.
yeah, I really loved my time in Link Crew, and I loved it when I was a freshman, and I loved it even more when I was a leader. And I strongly recommend that for anyone, and any student can tell you how much this program has impacted them. But this question is about how has Link Crew impacted you, and like what's the reward of you guys coming back each year and ready to like take on the task,
That's a really good question. I actually got a little chills when you guys said, because we get so used to having the freshman orientation and kind of seeing them. And with that being taken away, it kind of highlighted the importance of it. But as far as what I get out of it, if I'm being honest, Link Crew is probably what I spend as far as work time, most of the time working on. Probably one of my biggest passions. And just to see the fulfillment that we get as advisors, to see you all as Link leaders feeling fulfilled by connecting with your freshmen, is kind of what it's all about. So that's the reward or the gratifying part of it for myself.
I agree with a lot of what Mr. Veal said. I mean, it's truly a passion, and it's so fulfilling to see you guys in these different capacities that we put you in. You play so many roles for the Link leaders, and just also seeing our students grow as leaders from one year to the next, when people are able to stay and move on and be with us for the 2 years. And the last thing I think, not that I think, I know that I love about it, is that when Mr. Veal and I, when something doesn't work or when we want to improve something, we can do that every single year. We can do that the next day. And so that's what I love about our job in general, is just that it's like we constantly get to learn, push ourselves, and make things, better and better and better every year. And I know Mr. Veal and I are really proud of that, doing that together.
Yeah. And one of the other things I love specifically is by the end of the year or the end of a Link leader's career, they'll say, when I was a sophomore, I was terrified to speak in front of a group. Now I don't even think twice about it. So that's just like a tangible example of the growth that happens as a result of the program.
Definitely.
That was beautifully said. You guys are some of the most passionate teachers on campus, and this is just a program of such passion, and it was something I was really proud to be a part of, and that everyone who has been is. And our final question is, do you guys have any closing advice to any of our listeners or freshmen in particular?
You want to go first, Ms. Kimberly, or you want me to go?
You can go.
I would say the same thing that I tell my classes all the time is, it's frustrating, it's annoying, it's boring as far as being like behind the screen on Zoom, but there's really nothing we could do about it. We can't snap our fingers and make COVID go away, so we can't control it. So the message I try to give them every week or so is, we can only control what we can, and that's our attitude and our approach. So if you wake up not feeling like doing it, it's understandable, but at the same time, you have to. So you might as well try to find stuff that you enjoy and stuff that's going to make you happy in the meantime. And then out of this struggle that we're going through, try to find some light. And then when it's over, I think you'll feel even better than you did before we got into this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It sounds like a lot of cliches that we've been saying lately, keep the faith, keep the hope, all of those things, but it just seems so true right now. And I think just letting our students know that we're there for them and we want the best for them. We want to see them succeed. And if they're not feeling like they're being supported, then definitely reach out to some of those people we mentioned earlier on, because we really do want to see you guys be happy and successful, and that we're always here for you.
Yeah, again, very well said. And thank you guys so much for everything that you do. And thanks so much for being here. It's really great.
Thank you so
talking
much
to you
for
guys.
joining us.
Oh yeah,
No problem.
With that, thank you guys for watching. Please stay safe with the new 6th season coming in. Be safe on break. Have a wonderful break. And thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, Braves.
Bye.
Stay brave, Altaloma. Peace out.
Feel like a typo. Hey, go back from your past.
Do you guys have any questions for us before we say goodbye? We do really appreciate you joining us today.
When did you guys launch this? It's kind of cool. I feel like it's like my first press conference.
This is our 4th episode, so 4 weeks ago we did.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. I feel like I don't know, like I'm important. So that's my comment. No question. That's my comment. Well,
Yeah.
I know, thank you. But at the same time, I don't know, it's just kind of cool. So thanks.
Why did you guys get inspired to do this? Like, what was your goal, I guess?
Sky, if you want to take this.
Yeah, so I was kind of the one that gathered all of us together, I guess you could say. Because I knew, like, being in social distancing and not really seeing our friends every day or our teachers, everyone was feeling disconnected, or at least everyone I was talking to really felt disconnected. And I know one thing that I absolutely love about Altaloma is our school spirit and the connection we have on campus. And that's something obviously we've been missing. So I felt like starting something that we could involve people in from all grades, our teachers and our staff, would really help people feel connected. And so I kind of brought the idea to Kaylor, and Kaylor loved it and approved it. So then I went to Delaney and was like, hey, want to help me start this? And we both were talking and we're like, we should probably get some guys on board, so it's not just 2 girls talking, so we can talk to all viewers. And so Delaney and I both agreed, like, well, we need to figure out, like, find someone who we think would be really passionate about doing it and would be really good. So she brought Harrison, and I was like, that's a great idea. And then I was like, oh, well, what about Finn? And Delaney was like, I was literally just about to say the same thing. And the minute we all, like, started talking, I think it was, I don't know, kind of meant to be, because we were all already on the same wavelength and stuff. So.
All right, then one more question from me. Do you guys air this for people to see? The only reason why I'm asking is because if you wanted more viewers, you wanted me to advertise it to my classes, then just send me an email. I think it's pretty cool. And I think it's very cool. And I think it's pretty important for especially our freshmen, and just, again, I tell you, I have a sophomore niece who needs this as well as some of the upperclassmen. So whatever help you guys need with that, let us know, please.
Yeah, we air on Spotify and Anchor and really, like, any podcast platform. And then we also do post a video on YouTube. And then we also do have an Instagram and Twitter where we do put out updates, and we ask the student body what they want to hear, what questions they have. So, yeah.
Okay. What's up, Kai?
What's up?
Got a little celebrity guest.
Oh.
Well, yeah, and let us know. We could put it up on Twitter, and we could tag you guys in our Instagram for the freshmen too. Would be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having us. I really appreciate you asking us for it. We were honored.
Yeah, really.
Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. So I'll see you guys. Oh, no zero period this week. So after break.
Yes.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. I see the smiles on your face. Believe me, I'm smiling too. All right. All right, see you guys later.
All right.
All right,
Bye.
Veal.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye, Miss Kimberly.
I can't see you. Bye, guys.
Bye.